Well, there you are. Again. Charlie Greer podcast. I do this every day. Today. So yeah, RAD movie vocal proposal. So RAD, it was like a BMX movie released in like 1986. Um, and I got approached to like redo the vocals in 2000 and maybe 12, maybe what it was. Um, the movie again. I watched it when it came out, like 1986. By then, I was like 15. In '86, I was like 15. BMX kind of passed me by. I was more into rock and roll. It's a shit movie. Just a, I mean, I guess it's okay, but uh, so let's get into this. The time I was teaching singing and vocal lessons. Again, I've been in bands all my since I was like, well, 15 or 16, and so I was living in Pasadena at the time, and I don't even remember how they just I got a call. Hey, because I used to I had business cards everywhere. I would do uh like background vocals for indie bands. I never worked with any like major bands, but I would like do shadow vocals where I go in and sing the song, and then the other guy, the singer, comes in, sings over me, and then you pull me out. A lot of times they wouldn't; they'd keep me in the background. That was supposed to be that was actually another fee. If you pull me all the way out, it was like one fee. But if you kept my vocals in there, you had to pay me more money. That's how I had broke down how it, but not they always would. I'm owed money. So I forgot the woman's name. It was a woman who contacted me. And I forgot how many songs they wanted me to do. And if I remember right, they were trying to re-record all the songs on the Rad movie, because there's songs in the movie, and then release that or something like that, or I don't even know. So it's like a license deal within a. So what they were asking me to do was it's called a buyout. Like, hey, we need to go in there, sing these songs. We'll give you like X amount of dollars. You won't get anything else. It's just like a lump sum. There you go. You're done. Goodbye. Thank you. Um, so like, yeah, man. Um, so I quoted my first quote was a thousand a song. Because it's like, look, it's a buyout. I'm not going to get any like royalties or anything like this. And I'm thinking that they might have, uh, and the song, oh, come on, man. Uh, so yeah, I forgot how many songs it was. I could have swore they said like 12 or 13 songs they wanted me to, redo. Um, Might have been less. I don't remember. So she's like, think about it. Call me tomorrow. Give me a quote. So I call her tomorrow, and I'm like, or the next day, and I go, hey, like a thousand a song. That's why you, huh? That's like, well, hey, that too much. I have to go in the studio, whatever you're recording, and do all those vocals. Usually, you have to double up the main vocal, then you have to do all the background vocals, and this and that and the other thing. Man, it takes a while. I mean, if you're working with somebody that you could kick it out, but again, it's a if you're working with someone slow or they want to, yeah, if especially if it's analog recording, I mean, no, so like that's high, like that's the highest quote we've got so far. Like, well, hell, I mean, shit, it's only a thousand a song. I'm never gonna get any more money out of it. She's like, well, come back with a better quote. And she's like, look, we're gonna do it. It's gonna be easy, maybe a couple days work. So I was like, okay, fine. I was thinking about it. It's like, what should I do here? Like, because again, it would be, I mean, granted, it's not that it's a B movie, but it's something you put on your resume, your creative resume. And I kind of liked the movie when it was out. My friends, we watched it, but we were like making fun of it. We all were into BMX, but by then I'd kind of passed over. I was more into my guitar by then. I was into BMX, not that good, but I like, I had like a Schwinn Predator. I had friends that were like totally into BMX. They would race, they do all kinds of shit. Uh, Spoiled kid, friends that had money, but so she come back with a better quote. Like we can't do a thousand a song. Okay, like so Come back, and I was thinking about it. I was like, look, man, this is kind of a classic movie. I didn't know, like, maybe you're gonna re-release it. There might be some promotion on it. Is it getting on Netflix? Everything was getting digital then, or streaming or whatever. I thought, man, this might be a good opportunity to uh just lowball them, undercut everybody. So I thought, okay, I got this then. I'll just say $1,000 for the whole project. If it takes a week, that's 1,000 you made in a week. If it takes 2 weeks, you made 500 a week. Hey, it's like, again, it's a notch on your belt. Those things can lead to other things. It's a small world out there. Well, hi, Charlie, he sung on it. The next thing you know, you're singing on every BD list movie. It could be a career move for you. So I call her, and I'm like, look, like I'm going to do you a favor. $1,000 for all the songs. She's like, well, see, we got somebody that quoted like 700. 700. Well, I mean, she's like, will you do it for 700? I'm like, yeah, fine. I'll do, I'll do it for, let him call me. I'll call you tomorrow. And then call comes, and she's like, oh, you know what? We got someone to do it for free. For free. Work for free. Hey, man, the only bees that kill are freebies. All right. You don't want to be doing shit for free. I mean, come on. I mean, maybe it's a friend, you might do something here and there, but you don't want to be, especially in Los Angeles, you don't want to be like, I'll do it for free. And I just couldn't. I thought that was maybe a bull, because I was like, well, I'll do it for free then. She's like, oh, no, we already, it's a free. You dumb motherfuckers. Like, that's why my quote at the beginning, these people will outbid, they'll do stuff for free. I quoted like 1,000 a song. I'm sure people quoted even more. Again, it's in perpetuity. It's forever. When you do something like that, you get paid a lump sum. It's a buyout. Never again. If it's some strange coincidence, the strange mysterious world we live in, say one of those songs kind of pops off, and you don't get shit. You got paid your whatever, or that guy. And yeah, free. So I was like, shit. I mean, it took days to, this proposal, the quotes, sending their quotes and talking on that's it. In it with nothing, Again, I think the movie shit. Watch the movie. Try watching that piece of shit. And then they were trying to nanny boob at me, like after maybe a month or so. She's like, oh, they sent me a song like that they'd record. And man, oh, fuck. Sounded like a old man doing the songs. These songs were horrible. So yeah, it did. I didn't get it. And some poor bastard did it for free. Yeah, that's bullshit. Don't do shit for free. Speaking of asking, people will ask you to do things for free. I'm talking about creative things. Like, hey, you want to open your band? It's going to cost me $200? No. Nuh-uh. I've been asking, we move my band. Oh yeah, you guys got to drive to Chicago. You got to do this. We got to spend like $400 or $500 at the end of the day, and then do, huh? What happened to back in the day when you get paid? I got approached. Speaking of freebies, the bees that kill are freebies. I got called by this production company, and they were doing like a big DVD. It was like a motocross. Like, oh, this could be huge, bad. It's going to sell like 1 million. See. I'm like, yeah. They wanted to use a couple of my songs off my last EP I released, Turn Me On Dead Man. I forgot the songs they wanted, but they wanted like 2 or 3. And it's going to be used in the promotion. It's going to be used on the DVD, this, that, and the other. I'm like, well, hey, man, how much? Like, oh, good, hang in there. They wanted to, sugarcoat everything, that. And they're like, look, in perpetuity. So I was like, oh, it's a buyout. Like, well, like, what do you mean, kind of? And they're like, we want you to do it for free. Free? I was like, no, man. Well, don't you know you'll get so much exposure? I don't care. That gets out. You do shit for free. You're basically like a non-union extra on a set. You're at a cattle call. No, shit, no. Maybe if I was like a young buck and didn't know how, nah, not by then. No. You know what? I can sit at home and do stuff for free. And they were kind of cocky about it. And they're like, oh, see, you know, and then we kind of got in an argument. Like, I was just like, dude, like, and they were like, who are you? Like, well, dude, you came to me. You're talking to me if I like your music, you know, this, that. But, and then I was playing out, you know, come on. And, I think I got to call. Well, let's think about it. Because I quoted, I forgot what it was. It might have been like 1,000 a song. Like, look, if it's going to be low budget, you know, at least give me like 1,000 a song. If you want three, give me like $3,000. You know, no big deal. Whatever. I'll get. You're right. It'll be promotion for me. You know. But then they can use that over and over. That drive me crazy. I don't want to. No. There's no. And they're making money off you. And when we were arguing about it, I was like, well, yeah. So everybody else is getting paid. So you work for the production company. You're getting. Of course I am. But you no. See, that's how they treat artists and musicians. Like you're just making a few phone calls and emails and you're like on the computer and then you're making like what? How much are you making a year? Like 150 grand, 250 grand a year. Yet someone who's like hoed the row and fucking, you know, dedicated their life. Oh, free. What the fuck is up with that, man? That's evil. Those people, man, the reckoning is coming for these motherfuckers. And that seems how the world is with artists. They just think the artists are lazy. They don't deserve this, that, and that. And then he came he came back like or called me back. It was like the next day or whatever. And $50. $50. What? Then he was like, oh, okay, $300. No, absolutely not. You're gonna regret it. Yeah, fuck you. I said. We ended up like hanging up on that cocksucker. Excuse my French. But again, I'm all about people getting paid, especially if you're doing something. If you're dedicated, this is what you do. Come at me for free. I should have just hung up the phone anytime. By then, I was like, no, that. Also, by then, I was teaching. I was making, how much was I charging an hour? Like a lot. In the studio, it was like 100 an hour for me, minimum, to be in the studio with the band. And that was low for the rate. I mean, I was undercutting everything. That's super low, especially around LA, even for independent bands. So, no, didn't do it. And I remember he was like, "Whoa, dude, what are you gonna do? Like, what use it? You won't even know what? I'll know." Again, people think these people behind the scenes. That's the whole thing going on right now. The people behind the scenes make all the money. These celebrities, you think they got all this money? They ain't got any. Man, that's. He makes 20 million a film. Does he? Because after his agent, his manager, and this, that, and the other, and then the government, the taxes, blah, 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 and whoever you're paying off, you're blackmailed by someone, who knows? I don't think people make the money they make. Some of these celebrities aren't. They live in a mansion. It isn't theirs. It's their cars, that Rolls Royce. It's in someone else's name. Come on, it's not what you think. It's all about the people behind the scenes. They're the ones making the bank, and that's a small world. They steal everything. Right now, like a major label record contract, if they even have it, is a 360 deal, meaning they take everything, man. They take your publishing, they take the mechanicals, they take your merchandise, they take everything. They own your image, man. I've said this before, like Beyonce, that's why they have to go do L'Oreal. They make money, their side hustle. Don't get it shit. It's who you know and how much money you make them. That's the name of the game, bro. Or sister or whoever I'm talking to. That you think. And these people are like, oh, they got money, they got that. It's not what you think. I mean, in some cases it is. I'm not saying it's 100%, but man, it's getting damn near. It's this illusion of they don't want to pay you. Cover bands make more money than certain bands. I'm not shitting you. What is Steven Tyler of Aerosmith? He said the first real money he ever made was when he was on American Idol or whatever show he was on. He's not. They don't make the money that you think. course, they're not going to tell anybody. This is known. This is a known fact. Um, yeah, people make money in certain things, but they're not. It's not what you think. And some of them, literally, it's like, "We'll make you a star, say, and then we're gonna da, 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 da." You're just making them money, and they own your image. I mean, it's just. I talk about that when I went through the process of auditioning. What was called the what was it called um, anyway, it turned into Velvet Revolver. They when they were putting a Velvet Revolver, but at the time it was called the Project, I think, or something like that. And so it was called the Project. It was seeking, Slash, and they sent me a contract. Uh, that was like and I took it to a local lawyer, and I had to pay the money for him to look it up. And he's like, "Dude, this is like an old school, like I think these contracts are even like they used to be illegal, like they outlawed them. I don't know if they can do it now, but it was like in perpetuity. They owed your image, like just to audition for this, which turned into, pardon me, Velvet Revolver. Like it was like what they used to do to silent film people and stuff. It was like a standard old school contract where you're owned. So say if I did get that, which turned into Velvet Revolver, if I didn't, left that, if I did a commercial, if I did everything else, they're dipping their beak in my money. They're going to pay them for the rest of my life. And then if I die, my kids have to, it's just in perpetuity. That's a thing. I backed out of the process. And of course, they used my music on the VH1 making a Velvet Revolver. And they were making fun of me on there. After they were kissing my ass, and I had to talk to them. And it went on for like a month when I was talking to like Arletta or something, their management. And when I went into BMI, my publishing, I could see like Viacom, VH1, they just stole my shit. Never got any money. If I'm so shitty, and then this is their excuse. Oh, VH1 did that. We were actually praising you while we're listening to the song, and then they edited it together to make it look like we're badmouthing you. Man, go fuck yourself. Passing the buck like that. And their manager did for, a week or two, would call me and apologize. Oh, sorry, she was kind of rushing. Well, sorry, Charlie. She seemed sweet, but then again, that the good cop, bad cop, I'm not stupid. So those things, it's not what you think. It's most of the time, if you like, especially a band, like it might be one person in the band that's signed to the label. Everybody else are just like employees, like on a like on a salary. That's probably not even that much. That happens. There's that's why they quit. You'll see these bands, and they're like, "Huh?" When they figure that out, what in the they start getting their quarterly checks for publishing and mechanicals and this, that, and the other, and advances and that. The guy that signed to the label will get like a $7 million check, and the rest of the band get like 30,000 or something. What? Usually it's a drummer. Or a lot of times it's just the one person that's signed to the label. And that's why these bands, they'll leave the band. They'll break a band. They'll just quit. Because they're just not going to be, like, what did I sign up to? Well, you didn't sign this contract. What? Hey. It's brutal. I can't believe they get away with it. Like, there's labor laws in like the regular world, not in the entertainment world. They can literally like, own everything. I mean, they can, in perpetuity, man, forever. There ain't no beginning or end. It just is. And I can license things, like I'm in for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. I'm never going to go over 10 years. Granted, I haven't had that much opportunity to license a lot of stuff, but I know enough. And I used to work in licensing. Never do perpetuity. Never do it. Because that's your income. That's your stream of income. You don't know. That's what I mean. There's people out there that will, if you sign something, see, they'll lie to you. They can even lie. Then it becomes and then you sign it, and they're like, well, they can tell you, oh, no, you don't read those contracts, and they're worded all weird, You can have a lawyer that can understand that shit. Then it's a civil matter. You got to take them to civil court, which you can't even, you got to have a certain entertainment attorney, and they're all scared of all these people. That's also a thing. That's the norm. People have signed like horrible contracts. They, a lot of these bands, man, they're getting like Even back in the day, like an album, they'll make a dime a CD they sell, if that. Some bands to make it will sign over an album or two, and then they won't get their real till like the third. Like, okay, we'll make you famous. We got to, build, stuff our nest first. But then once you do, you become famous. Then by the third album, we'll know. And then I heard that's what Van Halen did. They don't make money off those first two albums. It was after the third one. And it was smart because, hey, we'll make you a star. We'll pump a ton of money into you, put you on these big, but you're only going to be on salary. Granted, you'll be making money and tour money. You can make money on tour, whatever, and your merchandise. But that album is ours, I saw in an interview, like Eddie Van Halen was talking about like Ted Templeman or whoever, their producer, makes more money. The producer makes more money than the band. And I'm talking about on their songs, their publishing. Like, he was just in there like, oh, moving sliders and okay, another take, and then they wrote the songs and no, but a lot of bands will say no, but then they're not going to get the promotion. See, that's what they promoted. This has been going on forever. Like, look, okay, we sign you to a 5-album deal. Those first 2 albums, we will, you're just going to be getting, salary. Of course, when you're on tour, you can make money, but you got to pay to be on. That's why it's called a support act. You got to pay to be on these tours, man. To this day, that happens. And some, and Van Halen, they were smart to do it, I guess. But those first 2, they're not making that. What do you think? It's all the producers and the record label and and sometimes it's, if you think about it, maybe it's worth it. Just okay. Well, we'll give you by the 3rd album, we'll cut you in. When I wrote a script and a few scripts. One of them was like, getting around Hollywood. I got a producer and we were this, that, and the other. And I was trying to get it optioned, it's called. You want to option your script. That way you get paid when they option it. When it goes in production, you get more money. Then, hey, you get a little piece of the pie, little bit of the pie, the movie, And I met with this big movie producer guy. And he's like, look, give me this one. But the other one you have, then we'll do business. But this first one, you're not getting, it was like a minimal. I mean, I would get something, but not with nothing. Like literally like just enough to live, like starve, basically. Barely get by. And then, by the next enough. So I said, no, absolutely not. Like I got mad. Well, get out of here, kick me out. I was like, what the fuck is this? Then years later, when I was dating this girl and we're living together, and she was like a D-list celebrity and she'd written movies and she was on this, that, and the other thing. And I was telling her that story. She's like, well, you should have did. That's what I did. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I had to give away that one, but now that's why I'm doing now. And I'm making. She's like, you dumbass. And I was like, well, I didn't know. Nobody told me. You know what I mean? Like I would have. How do I know he's telling the truth? And there's all these weirdo shyster. I mean, but that's what she had done. And she was smart. She'd given away that made them a fortune, and she didn't get anything. Then her next movie, hey, then she's all cut in. Now, hey, you're an earner now, so we can. But of course, it's not how much they're making. See, they're just giving you the scraps. They're the ones that making the bulk of the income. It's sad. You would think that like people would relish to be around artists and do this and inspire them to do. No, it's like they're just sucking the life out of everything. Income, I should say. Bullshit. Who would want to do that? They all have done it. They all do it. There's maybe a few that have kind of dilly-dallied around it and thinking, I don't know. But they're not making the bulk of the income. That's not going to happen. Never has, never will. Or how talented you are. Doesn't matter. There's a lot of these people that just want to be famous. And yeah, they're living, again, man, they don't own anything. I was talking about this Tupac. When he died, he had his mom thought he was living in a mansion in Malibu and had an apartment here and there and there. Guess what? It was in someone else's name. His cars weren't in his name. When it boiled down to it, he had $7,000 in an account, like a checking account. He had $7,000. He's Tupac. He had sold millions of albums, been in like top movies, this, that, that. Here's your $7,000 he had to his name. What? And he didn't own his image, and he didn't. Come on. It's just Mattel. Wasn't it Mattel Toys that bought Death Row when that all went down in early 2000s, whatever, going to bankruptcy? Mattel Toys owns Death Row. Did they sell it? I've heard somewhere that they did, but Mattel Toys owns The Chronic, the album. Come on. It's like that. Why would a toy company want to own Death Row Records like the most? Did they outbid ever? Or are they not? What, you know? We're a toy company. Right. That's why I don't do it. That's why I retired from music in 2000. When was it? My last album, unfortunately, my last album came out like 2008. I did like a 2-year cycle behind that. I usually do a year or two and I'd release it. Not anymore. I got tired of doing like just working my fingers to the bone. Even with like, you know, sitting around being inspired to write songs. Then you record them. Then you have to put a band together. In LA, it's like a revolving door of motherfuckers coming and going, you know, clubs ripping you off. I've been doing that since I was like 16, 17 years old. So by the time in 2000, I was like, I'm done. In 2010, I can't do it anymore. It's embarrassing to me to see these people. And also there's favors you can do to get ahead. I ain't going to do it. You know, I had a reputation like he's hard to work with. Yeah, because I'm not going to do some nefarious shit. And then you have to keep on doing it. No, I'd rather be known as a fucking loser than certain people. No, they're like, oh yeah, dude, he not. And I know people that have done, and then didn't get that far. Oh yeah, won't you wash the dog with me or whatever the hell they call it? And then you gotta no. I tell these people to go fuck themselves. Always have and probably always will. But that's why I started teaching. Like, how can I have people? How can I? You know, granted, I've dedicated my life to the arts. I'm a smart guy, but I can't. I'm not a pencil pusher. I don't know any of the. That's why I started teaching. Started teaching vocal lessons, singing lessons, and I haven't played a gig since like 2010, maybe. Yeah, it's been a while because I just couldn't do it. I was like 40 when no, I'm done with this. Had fun, but it just didn't work out for me. Main reason is because of what I'm talking about right now. These said weirdo shit has nothing to do with your art or your music. It's all these guys behind the bench that's trying to steal, and it's the norm. I mean, there's no labor laws, man. There's no. If you're in that world, you're an independent contractor. Like when you sign to a major label, you're an independent contractor. They're not giving you health insurance or anything. You don't get shit. And you wonder why they all end up like, oh, you know, a lot of these people are worth more dead than alive anyways. Once you get to a certain point, like, oh, you know, stupid. And why don't people speak up like what I'm doing now? Why don't you hear these? Because they can't. They don't want to. Oh no, my gravy train of. And you have to realize like, oh, why they keep work? Oh, he's releasing now, remember? Because they got to. They're an earner. They might have signed. There's probably stuff that I don't know about. We're like, look, bro, you better, you know, you got to make them money or they'll turn on you. Like with organized crime, you get made or whatever, you're an earner. Like you got to come up with that, whatever it is a month or a week, whatever you do, but you better get that money. You better get that. If you watch Donnie Brasco, dude, that Sonny Black or whatever that character is, they got a monthly nut they got to come up with. And if they don't, then here comes the violence. Here comes the, you know, they might get killed. So that in that scene, they're literally cutting the tops off of parking meters and taking change because they need to come up with about sitting there counting quarters. No, you know, that's a thing. It's the same in the arts, man. It's sad. And nobody talks about it. No, look at me. I'm shit. You're a dumbass. That's what you are. You're an earner. That's why they can't. You see a band that can write great songs, but then once they get into that on the cog, the wheel, they don't even know how to write because they're dealing with stress. See, you can't. A lot of people need a lot of leave alone. A lot of artists, they just need to be inspired and create my art. Not anymore. You gotta. So you don't know. That's why you need the Diane Warrens and all these people behind the scenes. The write your shit because you're just too. And probably drugged out too. You need a lot of drugs just to kind of, just for the anxiety and the panic you're dealing with. No, they're gonna kill me. Knowing that your life's in danger isn't inspiring. Maybe to some like, it sucks. The world we live in. Yeah, kicking the reel for y'all today. I do this every day. Like, share, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, it's in the description. There's information for Zelle. Hook me up. I do this every day. I'm wanting to go full time so I could do multiple things a day. But right now, I got to work. I got to do I got to do one show a day. I want to go out and do things, but I need like better equipment. I need to just see. And there's some I watch YouTube. These people, they're getting sponsorships and they suck. Their YouTube channels are horseshit. They don't have any they shouldn't even be talking. They suck. That ain't gonna last long. Online is gonna be the new TV. It probably already is. And I'm getting doxxed like a motherfucker. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. You want to support the channel? Again, Zelle. I love y'all. I do this every day. I'll be back tomorrow, ranting like a madman. So be blessed. Cheers.